Um, uh, please link up. We can talk. We take content. And let me also say that we have space for independent production because we are operating 7 TV channels. And depending upon the type of content you have, we will direct you to that channel and we would like to see how it will happen. Now, with regards to the sports content, the truth about the business model of Sporty TV is very simple. They are multinational and then they acquire the sports rights and they are able to make money. So you get it in several African countries and they are able to make money. Now, sports content is very expensive and GTV Sports Plus is only geo-located in Ghana. And the market in Ghana, we have tried before where we went for some European league and showed it on Sports Plus. And the advertising market was too small to support it. But Sporty TV model is really very good because they are located in several African countries and their content is across several African countries. So the market is huge and they can make the profit. We need a similar arrangement where Sports Plus goes beyond Ghana and it can also go out there and collect and pay for very expensive sports rights and be able to recover the cost. We have had a few attempts at international content and it has landed us in trouble. So we are very careful. That is why Sports Plus is not really shining these days.
Okay, there's like minutes. Brief thoughts, then we can move further.
Thank you for recognizing me. I just wanted to join the space to hear what the general public, is thinking and the station of the nation is going in terms of the future. So I don't have a lot to say, save to repeat some sentiments I shared recently with the Information Service Department. I mean, GBC, ISD, GNA, they are some of the oldest institutions dating largely by our independence experience. So I did say that, resilience is there and history is there. And these two values are values that should help these institutions that truly have struggled a bit, to reconnect with their glorious past and also to meet up with the demands of the now, to look back at their long history, at their resilience, and connect back to what they can actually become fully. But whatever challenges state institutions or state media faces, a private media is also facing it, and even media generally, because again, the watchers of media evolution and development will tell us that generally the media is facing a certain crisis of relevance. And until the media becomes more relevant to the needs for, national broadcasters like GBC that cannot, operate with the same level of commercial view as private media is operating with. So really, and how to reconnect with your glorious past, because indeed you do have a glorious past and the history bears you out. Your resilience over decades also bears you out. And so we need a new look to our national broadcaster. We need, because public broadcasting is very essential to any democracy that is still not found its way out of the woods yet. I mean, we've done 36 years and 32 years of, our fourth republic, but look at all the challenges that we are still dealing with democratically. And, democracy itself is taking a hit, and it's the media, the tool for social conscientization, the one that should be able to not only reflect to us, who we are, but it can also reflect to us what that role quite seriously, that we have a powerful platform to shape hearts, to shape minds, but most importantly, to shape attitudes. especially in a reset period. We cannot achieve the success of a reset period without a reset mindset where genuinely in our hearts we believe that we are contributing to something bigger and not just throwing slogans about as citizens, as leaders, as governments, even, So we must all be truthful to ourselves that we play around each other as if we actually want transformation. Transformation requires the laying down of our lives. I'm not talking literally, because there are those that actually lay down their lives literally to give us the freedoms that we today enjoy. And so, if all we have is also, embrace a certain different kind of laying down our lives, being congruent, imbibing the right values, and the media itself and the people who work in the media rising up to that higher calling. It cannot be business as usual. You must love what you do and you must commit to it and you must have the skills. You yourself, your mindset must be in the right place. And I think that's one of the challenges GBC deals with on a daily basis. A certain perception that GBC is still largely analog. You may have some analog machinery, but your mindset doesn't have to be analog. You can do more with your new skills. Just look at what the online editor of GBC has done to bring back this kind of interest, on GBC socials. Didn't used to be the case. So it is the same resources, but the different mindset is what is also now leading to this conversation we are having. So there are low hanging fruits. We don't have resources to give you everything that you might want, to become a modern 21st century broadcaster. But what do you do with the little that you have? What do your staff do? How are your staff motivated, inspired, in spite of the challenges? I think, and how does government, yes, realistically, also support a national broadcaster like the GBC to rise to the occasion. So, as the three people will say, "Asu deɛ ɛda yɛn nyinaa yɛ so," and I'm happy these are also willing to give. Please, what you're also willing to give, because nation building is about building, and we don't build on nothing. We build with materials, and it is you and I who will build. It's not only the government, it's not only the politicians, it's not only GBC, it's you, the citizen, also, who in speaking about how, what is the generation Z term, how woke you are, will say that I don't watch local programs, I don't listen to local programs, and that is supposed to be a bragging right. Who should who should build your country for you? You're consuming other people's content and creations, their creative, value, and making them rich, and you sit on your land and speak dismissively about what you should also be doing to build. And we make reference to all these Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, and how it started. You must start from somewhere, and when you start from somewhere, so people must be willing to also put in the sacrifice to make it work. But this is where we are. The competition is such that if you don't innovate and you don't play in the spaces that people play in, give them content how they want it, then it's like you'll be left out in the dark. So, food for thought to all of us. But we need to all join hands and build the Ghana we want together. Thank you very much for listening to my rant.
All right. Thank you very much, Shamima, for your comments there. Shamima is the deputy presidential spokesperson. I have some question here coming from Joseph McLean. Joseph says that my question is, what will it take GBC to have its own digibox and dedicated channels like the other broadcasting stations? The free-to-air channels are unstable, even in places. Leonard says that with the youth shifting to phones, social media, and streaming platforms while traditional FM radio loses ground, how is GBC Radio ensuring it remains present where its younger audience actually lives? And this is coming from Leonard. So, Prof, let me just take one more question coming from Kwame Prince Winka. Kwame Prince Winka, let's hear you. Then Prof can respond to some of these things. Yes, Kwame. Hello, Kwame.
Yes,
Let's
I
hear
can
you,
hear
Kwame.
you. Great. So good evening to you. As someone who grew up watching Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and what was quite fresh on my memory is we sometimes would wait, watch the color bar until you switch to another color bar where there's a little music playing underneath. Then the continuity announcer would come and then would announce the programs. I quite remember growing up watching Muppet Babies. I mean, watching Cartoon Network at 2 p.m. And then I also remember CNN at 5 p.m. Those were the great times. I remember Saturday by the fireside. Because GBC has come very far. It has shaped the lives of most of us here in the country. I'm still a journalist. I the journalism front, and I'm passionate about GBC's growth, and also the need for all of us to contribute in ensuring that it grows. I'm looking forward to a time in our country where GBC, like I wish many years ago, when digital satellite television came into Ghana and it was a craze. I quite remember, and this is not a story I'm making up. This is something that I wish for many years ago. That there'll be a multiple bouquet platform where GBC will take the lead. We'll have the likes of GBC Parliament, GBC Entertainment, just as BBC does. BBC has BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Parliament, and many other channels, which will go in a long way to help shaping the Ghanaian narrative that we all desire. Because I quite remember in the 90s, most of the series that you used to show, like Ultimate Paradise, Inspector Bidiakon, and many others, were stories that went to inform those kids like us who grew in the 90s, inform us more about our country, our heritage, and our culture. So the needed investment is what we pray for GBC. The needed support from the Ghanaian public is what we pray for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And if all these are done and put together, I know the sky is way beyond your limit. Ghana Gold Board.
Yes, Prince, thank you very much for joining us. So, Prof, Joseph wanted to know when GBC is going to have its own digibox, dedicated channels like the other broadcasting stations, and also what GBC is going to do for those in the hinterlands where sometimes they struggle to get some bit of network there. And then Leonard talking about the youth being on their phones and social media and streaming platforms, gradually moving away from the traditional FM radio. So what's the GBC going to do in terms of the radio positioning to ensure that it cuts up with the audience too? All right. So we are also live on Facebook. That's GTV Ghana. Prof, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, George. And I want to thank those who have the questions. Joseph, the DigiBox conversation is all about public policy. It was the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation that started the DigiBox in Ghana. But it just takes the Ministry of Communication to make a policy and tell us to stop. So if we have the policy reversal, GBC will come back and launch the DigiBox, because the decision to launch a DigiBox is a government policy through the Ministry of Communication. And many years ago, GBC started a DigiBox, and a government policy took that away from us. When we get it back, we will do the DigiBox. Now, the radio and youth. In fact, there was a question earlier why our radio is off. It is precisely this reorganization that you realize that we have taken away all the unique programming. Very soon, you will have the radio content automatically streaming on Facebook, YouTube, as well as normal radio boxes and car radio. That is what we are doing. So we are working on that already. And to the conversation from our fellow journalist, Prince Menka, please, I think that the GBC is already running a bouquet. And on that bouquet, we have 7 different channels, including Ghana Parliament, which is a dedicated channel that we are carrying, including Garden City Television, which is based in Kumasi, including Obonu TV, which is dedicated to local language Danangbe in Accra, including Lifestyle Television, which is focused on youth. So we are already running the bouquet. We are doing just exactly what you are saying. And the GBC digital transmission system with 26 channels, of which GBC is using 7, and we have rented the rest of the 19 to the private sector. And when we did that experiment, it worked. Public policy once again came and took that away from us and gave it to the Ministry of Communication. So the national bouquet is in the hands of the Ministry of Communication. Despite that, GBC's, all our channels are also on the national platform. So we have multiple TV channels, GTV, GBC Parliament, as well as Obonu TV and Garden City TV. These are the channels that we operate, and they are all in the market operating on their own. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. I have Koku Mauli Nenetbe, I have Joshua Pia, and then I have Citizen Kwesi, I think, Hornsby. So let's start with Koku Nenetbe Mauli. Koku, let's hear you. Koku, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, let's hear you, Koku.
Yeah, good evening. I must commend the Director General for GBC and you all for putting this together. In fact, if you listen to the conversation, and in fact, beyond this, you realize that there is a lot of ignorance in the system as to what really the TV license is about. Like the Director General tried explaining, people thought that because you don't watch GTV content, it means you don't owe TV license, and that is not the case. It's about ownership of TV sets, and that is what it is. And the law is ambiguous, or people are ignorant about it. Compliance is difficult. So I think that there must be some level of advocacy, and it has to be a deliberate effort by GBC that all the platforms, and you see, I'm saying this because a lot of the things we are talking about for me is attitudinal, because we are not seeing the compliance in the payment of the taxes, so we can change it. I remember vividly when about 5 years ago, when GBC decided to put together a team for the breakfast show, where Kafride and the likes of Telma is online, and a team, Valerie and others came on board. You can realize the viewership, the increment in the viewership. It's about the content. And I'm saying that it can be the collection of the TV license fee is due. All its channels will be dedicated to issues of TV license, advocacy, compliance, all the things that is required just to advocate it. And that, because GBC is the mother of all stations, that all the other private media houses that we have, GBC have a certain share in them. I don't know how true is it. If it is it difficult for GBC to have an engagement of advocacy talking about TV license and the need for Ghanaians to pay TV license? Even if GBC doesn't have the share that we used to hear in those media houses, can there be some level of barter trading with those media houses, if they have, just to create awareness about the payment of the TV license? And I believe that if you're able to do this, Ghanaians will comply much earlier. I think about 2017, 2018, where there was a directive that a collection of TV license should stop. Those who were in GBC at the time will attest that Ghanaians were complying. In fact, people will go and come and tell us, and say that collection of the taxes was TV licenses was improving until that directive came. So I believe that what we are talking about, it is workable. GBC must use its own platforms to be able to highlight this. Let Ghanaians know that it is incumbent on them to pay, because the law is the law. The law of paying TV license is the law, and we are to comply. And beyond that, I believe that GBC, and I'm saying this because next year we'll be going to the World Cup. In my lifetime, I've seen something during the 2022 World Cup. For the first time or the second time, GBC has not been able to air all the World Cup matches. I was young in 1990. I saw the World Cup. GBC aired all the matches.
Okay.
1994. I watched it.
Mauli, thank you.
2008. Yeah, so just to wrap up, at a certain level, it stopped, all because of resources. So I'm expecting that GBC will be able to up its game in the collection of this revenue, so that at least we'll have resources to be able to have the content that we want to see, the GBC as the BBC, as the VOAs, and all of that. In the questions, and I'm wrapping up.
Mauli, you said you were almost wrapping up. I think let's just make time for
Yes,
others to also join us.
I'm just ending it here.
Thank you.
I saw a question about one of your channels, secondary radio station has been going off. It's not only in secondary Takrady, even Volta Star. At a certain point by 8 p.m., Volta Star closes. What is really the problem about this?
All right, Mauli, thank you very much.
You.
So we'll have, I think, Joseph appear. And please, let's just try as much as possible to work within a very decent time. Let's make it brief with your questions and your comments so that we can have a lot more to address. So, Joseph. Hello, Joseph, let's hear you. Mr. Apia, are you there?
I'm there.
Good, let's hear you.
Good evening. I'm Joshua Pia. I'm talking from Asinfusu Dumasi. I was in Accra. I grew up in Accra. Somewhere 2009, 2010, we started having these digital TV stations, including Obunu TV. But when I moved from Accra to Asinfusu, somewhere 2012, when I came here, there was no digital TV here. It was the analog. So somewhere 2016, 2017, thereabout, when it came, we're having this particular TV station, the Gavin TV, where we watch everything. Some time ago, I noticed that the TV station is off. Now, as I'm speaking to you now, if you are here, you can't get something like Obunu TV because it's limited to Accra. And some of us growing up in Accra, we knew that our culture, we don't leave our culture. If you want to watch that TV station, when you are only in Accra. But last 3 years, we noticed that they brought the Digi box where we're paying 23 or 24 CD. We started speaking to you now. Our digital TV is off. My location is off for about a week or two now. We don't know what we call this thing, the Parliament TV. I only know the Parliament TV on this particular Facebook or YouTube. That's why I knew it. I don't know that GTV even have it because we don't get it. It was only last week when I scanned through my satellite TV. I saw that you've added it to this multi-line, this altitude 28.0 degrees, that GTV Sports Plus and the other things are on. We are here. Sometimes when it rains, our TV station goes off for a week or two unless you use the multi-digi box, which is very bad. If you are to do this thing, we'll stop using DSTV and add it to this particular, we'll pay our TV license. Because formerly, when we were growing up in Accra, we saw our parents paying for the TV license. It was like this thing, Lotto this thing where you see it on the street. The Lotto kiosk, you see it on the street. You see GTV this thing, TV license kiosk there. We pay it. My parents were paying it. Expose your child to it. It doesn't have anything, age limit, where you can put this thing, the PG on it. It doesn't have all those things, and which is spoiling the children. So I'll beg that you people should look into it and return it back to where it is. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Joshua, for reaching us with this. Citizen, Chrissy, let's hear you, and then our prof will respond to these questions. Citizen. Hello, citizen. Citizen, can you hear me? Okay. Prof, if you can respond to Joshua, I mean, his concerns got to do with the rich, where it's difficult to get some of GBC's channels there. Plus, Mauli's thoughts too.
Okay. Thank you. I'll start with Joshua. Joseph Appiah. Joseph Appiah made a point about signals in, is it Asimposo area?
Right. Yes.
Yes, Asimposo area.
I explain to you. This digital television signal system in Ghana was inaugurated by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Public policy decision, that means a government policy at the time, took it away from GBC and invested it in the Ministry of Communication. So where you are located, you are served by the Ministry of Communication platform, on which all GBC and private TV signals are operating. We call it the T2. So it is not within GBC's power to determine when those signals are available or they are not. My knowledge is that sometimes the cell towers are disconnected because of electricity bills. That is not GBC's responsibility. We cannot handle it. It is Ministry of Communication's responsibility to ensure that the bills are paid and those TV signals are made available to all Ghanaians. Now, if you are in Accra, if the Ministry of Communication platform go off, you automatically realize that GBC platforms is on, so you can always have it. And we call the GBC platform T1. T1 is only available in Accra and Kumasi, urban centers. But in the rest of Ghana, every Ghanaian is served by the National Ministry of Communication platform, where GBC signals and private TV signals are all located because of non-payment of bills. That is what has been the case. Sometimes we monitor this across the country and we get a lot of districts and regions off air because the bills haven't been paid yet. But once they are paid, they are reconnected and they come back. That is one of the reasons why the signals are on and off. And it is beyond the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation because we operate in a country with policies that are imposed on us. So we have to obey and work within those policies. Now, Maureen and the best made mention about TV license advocacy. And let me assure you that we have taken a lot from you. We have heard you and we are going to work on that. And you talk about our share in other media. For the record, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has 50% share in Metro TV. And we only have 6% share in the multimedia, which is part of the Joy system, Joy TV and Co. We only have 6% shares in it. And as a shareholder, we only wait for the payment of it. We don't take part in the management of these stations or air direction. And when we go to them, it's only business. We only go there to buy, or they come to us to buy. So this concept of collaboration, yes, it's a good idea, and we have heard you right, and I think it's a very important one. George, have I answered all the questions?
I think so. Yes. There's a question here. This is that before we move to pick other shows, you'll be shocked the viewership you would get. And that GTV govern, I'm sure now that is GBC News, must come back and do that work and do the work that Jubilee House is doing on Facebook. So that's a question there coming in there. So that's one. I'll move over to join Wayo. Wayo, good evening to you. Let's hear you, Wayo. Yes. Wayo, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Good, let's hear you, Wayo.
Oh, okay. I want to talk about viewership. I believe we can also get some viewership by introducing some little things like now we are in the technological world. So like the coding and see how the students are interested with this coding, with this mini robotics and others. So as this GCB have uh, various newcasters or whatever from different regions, we can talk to them so that they go to the schools and they have representatives in the various schools, both in the senior high and then the tertiary level. So that in case any student come out with some little design or program, at least even if we can showcase like one child also can inform the parents. Now the parents may also inform another friend. Oh, look at my child is being shown on the television about his or her products. Then after watching that child products, the parents will be interested to watch another product from another child also. Before you realize, then people will be having what interested in watching what those programs. We can show them also on social media. It's just like so example like this year whilst the students were showcasing their fashion design and that, and people were amazed of what they do. And when they go to various schools, you can see that they are doing a lot, but you may not see them out. But if we can get those people coming out with those things, at least we can also increase our viewership. And when increase the viewership, I think sponsorship will also come. And when sponsorship come, the company or the GBC that would benefit. So at least if we can list with senior high school and then the tertiary school, and then get some of their projects or some of their projects to showcase on our television, at least we can increase the viewership. When NSQ started, people were not interested like how it is now. So we can also start with this. People might not be interested now. By a year or 2 or 3 years later, people will be interested in leaving the NSQ that we are seeing. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Wayo. I have a crowd Donald Trump. Hello, Accra Donald Trump. Hello, Accra Donald Trump. Good evening. Hello. Okay, let's join. Hello, Kabute. Kabute, can you hear me? Oh. All right. Kabute, whilst we get ready to join us, Al Jabbar says that please, I am asking, can't DTV collaborate with government and control and accountant general so that once you are being paid as a public servant worker, they deduct it from your salary? Okay, it's referring to TV license in there. And then we have another one here. Okay. Kabute, are you there? All right. Prof, you can respond to these ones. Wayo talked about content, collaborating with others, especially with technological content and all that.
I think I saw that as a suggestion, and we are very much interested in those ideas. So instead of commenting on that, I think we have heard, and these are content ideas, and we will take them on board and discuss further. We appreciate that. So there isn't much I can say about that. There were some other questions.
I think mainly it's got to do with what we can, in terms of the collection and then the content to what we can do to enhance it. There was one who asked whether there could be a dedicated channel that will have our vintage programs, and we'll be surprised the viewership that can generate for us. Prof.
Thank you. That question is a very good one, and I think our strategy on that is to rather to do it video on demand. when we put in the infrastructure for video on demand, then it will mean that you can come and sample online and choose the video you want to watch. Because if you want to be broadcasting it, vintage content, you will soon run out of content. So when you dedicate a TV channel like us, is that you create an online video on demand platform where people can come and click and watch at their own time of choosing. And that is what I think that we are looking at in practice. That's what we want to do, to set up video on demand systems that people can choose when to watch it. Let me use the opportunity to acknowledge the presence of a board member, Amasewani Kwetete is there, and I think I am not surprised she's the most youthful member of the board, and I'm glad she's here. Thank you. I just want to acknowledge her.
Okay, and Prof, I don't know how you're going to answer this question though. It says GTV governing, that's what is GBC News now, must come back and do what the Jubilee House is doing on Facebook. What do you think?
What are they doing on Facebook? I don't know.
I'm sure it's got to do with broadcasting certain government programs and all that, straight from the Jubilee House.
As and when we have access to that Jubilee House content, we always broadcast it on GBC News channel. We do that all the time. But we can only do that when we have access to that content. And we will do it always, anytime we have access.
All right, we'll pick the final three and then we'll wrap it up. So we have Waxy, we have NYB, and then original King Kaka. So I'll start with you, Waxy. Waxy, let's hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. And then I must say that those of us who grew in Ghana with GTV, we are very passionate about the good old times and how you kept us entertained and educated during our early formative years. And it is very important that we continue as a station of the nation to set the pace. It's detrimental to allow private entities to set the pace in terms of what goes out to the public and media consumption. And therefore, it is very important that we as a station of the nation set the pace. But one thing that comes to mind to every Ghanaian is that what is the value proposition from GTV? Now, we are paying all these, we are deliberating on how to be able to collect the taxes and all that. But in the end, what is the value proposition from GTV? And I believe that if GTV have been able to, put up together something that would be convincing enough. Because I remember the last time the Ashanti Regional Minister ran a poll on his Facebook page and people were suggesting a number of programs that they think should come. We are going to bring back on the media space. A lot of Ghanaians will be convinced. And even if it is not going to be a government proposal or maybe an imposition of a tax, people will be willing to contribute something substantial to make sure that we see the good old times back on the channel of G. If there is a particular law that bans you from competing as the private entities do or and all that, but my special emphasis is based on the value proposition that GTV brings on board. And I think that if we are able to see that value proposition, a lot of people would be able to, come out freely and willingly.
All right, thank you very much, Waxy. NYB, let's hear you. NYB, let's hear you.
Hello?
Yes, NYB.
Hello? Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Yeah, the gentleman who just spoke, I think he has spoken in my mind. But GBC, some of us learn even how to speak on GBC. They used to have good content. I think the question should not even about TV license for me for now. It should be about content. Why should I somebody pay 570 for DSTV, and the same person will not be willing to pay, is it 30 cedis or so for a whole year? That is the question I think the management should find the answers to. The X we are finding will be there. Why will I pay 750 a month and will pay less than 100 cedis for a whole year, and I don't want to pay? Why? The X is there. And another one is, he said we should pay per TV set. I don't have a TV. Does that mean I'm not going to pay? I don't have a TV. So I think they'll pay per TV. Those things, I think, is an archaic. You should now be looking at TV. I watch TV on my phone, on my laptop. So if the law says per TV and I don't have TV, it means I'm not supposed to pay. So this radio theater, some of these programs are nice. They should migrate them back digitally for me to be willing to pay. If not, you can never find the X. But I think the X is why people will sacrifice and even borrow money and pay 750 a month, 570 a month, and the same person will not be willing to pay less than 100 CD a whole year. The X is there. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, NYB, helping us to find the X in there. Let's go to Didi Martins. Didi Martins, good evening to you, and let's hear you.
The X is there.
Didi Martins.
The X.
Hello, Didi Martins.
Yeah, hello.
Good, Didi Martins, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, George. Well, I'm an ardent viewer and listener to GBC, both on radio and on TV. And of late, I have not been hearing you, George and Nanaya, on radio. That is the morning show. Now, TV license, I believe that we need to enforce it. You see, content, Ghanaians will complain. Whatever GTV will do, Ghanaians will complain. There are things that we need to enforce it. BBC, tech signals that have households that have televisions. So I believe van detectors, GTV, the state is not supporting you much, but if the agency that you are under, you can partner with them, they should get to a van detector so that at least we'll be going around the various households, detect households that have TVs. Because the only way GTV will survive and can grow is for their TV license, the revenue aspect to grow. And for instance, previously GTV was showing the English Premier League. They were showing almost all the elite leagues, but as time goes on, they faded off because of funding. So TV license cannot be erased out, and it should be enforced. You see, there are certain things like when government wants money, they send it to where everybody will pay. Just like, oh, they'll put it through the fuel side. When they put it to fuel, you will complain, definitely you pay. So I think GTV should liaise either with the communication ministry, finance ministry, the utilities, that is the energy ministry. If maybe they will chip it into the electricity bills, Ghanaians will complain. Is it everything they will complain? So this is the time that both steps need to be taken. If you chip it through the electricity bills, people will complain. This 1 cedi levy, Ghanaians complain. However, it is working. The government will get revenue to do the best of it. So if they chip it through the electricity, water bill, anything that you see that no, majority of Ghanaians will definitely pay. That is when you go to electricity. Electricity, almost every household, if not about 90% of Ghanaians using electricity. Chip it there. People will complain. They will talk. GTV don't have content. GTV will not do this. But when you chip it in there, definitely you get that revenue of the TV license aspect. And it will go because I listen to GTV. I watch GTV. I listen to Unique FM. Most of their radio stations, their content, their reporting is very good. When you travel outside Accra, almost every region, GBC, especially when it's 3 o'clock, they are 3 o'clock. They have 3 o'clock that their reporters report on it on their various
Ghana today.
How
Ghana today.
Ghana today, very good. In fact, fortunately for me, I have traveled almost all the 16 regions. Every region you go, when it is 3 o'clock, every station, I wondered, it means that GTV, it covers the whole country. But it is only in Accra, Kumasi, that they would portray it as if, oh, GTV is not listened to, it is not being watched. No, it's a lie. I've been in Kumasi, up the north, both all the 5 northern regions. I've been where, and GTV is almost everywhere, and it is listened to both radio and television. So I believe either the energy ministry, where that GTV can partner and chip in the TV license, it can be 1 cedi as they did with the fuel, 1 cedi to every household through the electricity. Ghanaians will talk, but this is the time you have to take bold decisions. Every country that develops, there are bold decisions that have been taken. That's definitely, maybe it will not be today, but 20 years, 10 years to come, the benefits will come, and Ghanaians will see that the GTV has gone a long way. And kudos to the Director General, Prof. You've done very well, and I want you to be back on air, especially Unique FM, the morning station. George and Nanaya, we've missed you a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Didi Martins. I think that's it for the questions. So we'll move over to Prof. So, Prof, Waxy wants to find out about the value proposition for GTV if all this happens in terms of the TV license and what's happening to the IGF. NYB, he talked about finding the X, why someone would like to pay over 500 Ghana cedis a month for a content that is not prepared to pay 36 Ghana cedis just a whole year. It's a bit worrying for him. Didi Martins had a lot of advocacy and encouraging us and also motivating us. And then the final question is got to do with why GTV is not showing Black Star matches. I mean, the recent games that the Black Stars played. So, Prof, it's a mouthful, though. I'll just wrap that. That's it.
Yeah, thank you very much for these questions. I just want to, with regards to Waxy, the value proposition, and I think we talked about it earlier. Simply put, currently we are only getting less than 2% of our IGF is attributed to TV licenses. And most of the content is not cheap. When GBC has the resources as publicly funded, it is going to give you exactly premium content that money can buy or money can produce. We cannot turn it around. Basically, we need that resources to give you that premium content which you will love. And I think that we have done it before. Some years back, we were even offering you English Premier League and all the European League matches. We have not been able to sustain it because the revenue coming from it is not able to sustain the purchase of this content. And once we have the ability, we will surely give you that content. And what in other jurisdictions they have done is that when they guarantee public funding for the national broadcaster or the public service broadcaster, they determine the percentage that has to be used for content, percentage that has to be used for technology acquisition, new technology, and the percentage that will go into staff salaries and other things, so that you do not have an abuse of the public fund. These are things that we are ready to work with if it is imposed on us. Now, the NYB talked about why are people ready to pay? It's a very good question, but we don't have the immediate answer. But I think that is something that we can all try to find the X in it. That it is simply, if we are able to offer compelling content. And the question about Black Star matches, let me put it on record. Since independence, all the sports Black Star game GBC has shown, including FIFA matches, they are always very expensive. And it has always been so that the government purchases the rights and gives it to GBC and sometimes with some other private stations, and we show it. GBC cannot, and I say this again, no private TV station in Ghana can, or GBC cannot, nobody can do, none of us can do it. Go on our own and acquire the rights and show. All of that has always been paid for by government with public funds, and then we are now able to show it. The last World Cup, we did a consortium Government paid for the rights. Then we set up a consortium of 16 TV stations, including the big ones like Multimedia and Media General. We all came together. And when we put all our resources, we couldn't even generate 50% of the amount government spent in acquiring the rights. So simply put, all Black Star matches must be paid for by government for Ghanaians to watch. And if government is not able to do it, there's no way GBC or any other media organization in Ghana can afford to get the rights and show it free to air. That is what has always been. Nobody has ever bought it, except government. D.D. Martins made the issue about Unique FM. Yes, D.D. Martins, Unique, George and Bo will come back, but they will come back as Radio Ghana, not Unique, because we are trying to reposition the station. And I think I was happy to hear you talk about the fact that we are nationwide. When you listen to Ghana Today in Wa, Bolga, Ho, Tamale, you listen to it as Radio Ghana. So we want to build that brand as a national brand. That is why Unique will go down and Radio Ghana will be superimposed for it even operating from Accra. That is what we are doing. Have I left out any question?
No, I think we are good. I think we are good. Prof, thank you very much. And we're grateful for your time this evening. And for all those who join us too, thank you very much. To Doc, thanks a lot for this whole advocacy and championing this whole conversation, provoking that thought that we all need to do something to support our Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Thank you very much. Shamima, thanks a lot. And thanks a lot to all those who join us this evening. Our commitment to you is that we are going to work on everything that has been said here. And we will get back to you. And there are going to be several means at which we're going to get back to you. We can get back to you by changes you see on television, or even changes you're going to hear on radio. Or we can actually get back to you by any form, again, even engaging you on this platform. We cherish so much what you have told us. We cherish so much the ideas you've brought on board. And we know that you love the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And we also love you too. We always encourage that this belongs to you. And we all have to do something to build what belongs to us. And need I say that we need not do something to build what belongs to someone else. Let's build what belongs to us, what belongs to you and I, so that one day when we are that old, we can tell our children and tell our great-grandchildren that, listen, we're all part of this success story of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is George Sappo. I moderated this session. Lots of you have been wondering who the admin is. We can call it a night. So, admin, how are you?
George, I'm fine, and I think you know that.
Okay, all right, okay. And how have you been so far? I mean, how's the day going for you?
George, can you say that the admin is not a
Let's hold on. There's someone speaking. Prof, are you saying something?
I'm saying make it clear that the admin voice is not Kapude. The admin is not Kapude.
Oh no, yes, the admin is not Kafuide. The admin is not Kafuide. And I'm sure the voice.
It has been a long day. And this is how.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining.
Admin, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining. We hope to engage you again. Have a good night. And God willing, we'll talk when we have to talk again. Bye-bye. I was hearing.